Hello, welcome to the stubzcast. The stubzcast, the content creator podcast. If you want to order yourself a custom gamer picture, logo, or even an overlay, this was kindly made by Jay the Graphic God. Please go to www.exportsgamerpics.com
Oop,
and
sorry
and
about
if you
that.
want to check out, you fine. If you want to check out a great independent gaming website for your latest gaming news, reviews, featured articles, and also podcasts, please check out www.bg4ghub.com. Thanks to all the podcast listeners on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And I would like to ask a favour. If you all enjoy the shows on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps more than you know. Welcome, Pixel Slapper. How you doing? Also, this week we have my good friend and co-host from the weekly Wednesday podcast I do, Cerebral Paul, join me, which I've wanted to do this podcast for quite a while, this interview. Paul is also a panel member of the Flemish Experience and Newcomb's new show called Good Morning Xbox, and also an Xbox ambassador who fights the fight for accessibility for gamers and equality. So welcome, Cerebral Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You've misspelled my name in the title of the show. It's Cerebral.
Have I? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just sorry about that. I can fix
But
that.
other than that, I'm doing good. Doing good. Getting ready for E3. Kind of hanging out.
Have I spelled that wrong? Cerebral.
You missed it. You missed the R. Look at it says Cerebral Paul interview.
Sorry. Is it in the show?
It's the title of the YouTube. The title of the YouTube itself. Not of the.
Just fix. The R's in there. CEREBAL. Yeah.
Yeah. EBRAL. Cerebral.
Oh, there's an R next to the B.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes, right. I'll fix that, and I'll fix that one. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'll just fix that. I will.
At least you didn't misspell Paul. You'd be amazed how many ways Paul can be misspelled.
Well, that's my dad's name's Paul as well. So I won't get that wrong. Brand. I'll just make sure I've not messed the banner up too below. Yep, I have. No, I haven't on that one. That one's all right. Yes.
Yeah.
Have I? Yeah.
No, on the scroll, it's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So we're all good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I messed that up.
I noticed it when I was posting that we were live. My spell checker went, "This is not right."
Sorry about that. So how you doing recently? You've been there. Well, it's gaming season. It's E3 season. It's Summer Game Festival season.
Yep. So I've been watching a bunch of stuff I wouldn't normally be watching and kind of keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, there's loads going on at the minute. I thought it'd just be a bit different. This would be doing the stubzcast. It's been a while with content creator hub podcast. Yeah, because I have been thinking about doing that. I've been meaning to do this one for a while, but I had a bit of a break, and I thought I need to get you on. Really, it's about time to get Cerebral Paul on. Definitely,
all right.
Especially with your fame. Especially your fame recently. Everyone wants a piece of the Hollywood. Hollywood Reporter. Congratulations on that one. That's quite a big
thank you.
website. That is.
Yeah.
And you got some more coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, even Ability TV. Magazine is coming up, and a Canadian TV show is coming up. That interview will be done this Monday. I don't know when it's going to air though. But.
Was that like a Zoom call or something? I presume.
Yeah, it's going to be a Zoom call. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, they're not flying me to Canada for something.
No, what the well? Imagine that, flying you out there. That'd be pretty cool. That would be. Yeah,
maybe someday. Maybe someday.
You never know, man. If E3 was on, you might. Well, I don't think Xbox would fly you out there, would they? Somehow, I think they'd let you go, wouldn't they? I don't. Think
all these interviews are actually becoming to me because I'm a part of the ambassador program.
Oh, that's nice. That
They've reached out to me by way of that. And now, so they keep reaching out again and again. I'm more than happy to, speak up.
That's good to hear. That is very good to hear. So we'll start. So I think we'll start. I mean, this might seem stupid, right? How did you come up? Now, obviously, remember this is to people that don't know you, and people on download things that don't know you. And this might seem to us quite obvious, but how did you come up with your name, Cerebral Paul?
Well, there is a story behind it. I wasn't always Cerebral Paul. I was before that. I was Gimpy P.
Okay, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yes, and but as I was getting more involved with the ambassador program, and I wanted to be more out there in the open, they kind of suggested, some people find the whole Gimpy thing a little didn't find it off-putting or offensive because of the word gimp. And which is something I own. To me, that's what I was. In fact, when I had to change my name, when I decided, okay, I'm going to change my name. After I did it, I felt like I had lost a piece of myself because it was so much a part of who I was, my personality. You immediately go in thinking, okay, this guy's got a sense of humor because who else would use that name?
This is actually isn't it?
This is actually the second or third name after that. This isn't one that kind of stuck, but I actually have cerebral palsy, which is, a physical condition. There's about 2,000 different things that fall under that flag.
Really? Okay.
And my real first name is Paul, so it kind of feeds into it, But so it serves two purposes. In fact, when I changed it, my mother messaged me and she goes, "You're just trying to show people how smart you are, aren't you?" Because it also means that. It also means, very smart, very cerebral, very thoughtful.
Oh, cerebral assassin. Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of.
So I kind of get in on both sides. Not only is it a play on the condition I have, it plays on that I am a very intelligent person, or at least I think I am. And Mensa thinks I am, so we're good. So
yes. Oh, that's a good little story. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice story.
And it allows me to again show a little bit of my personality just in introducing myself.
That's good. Yeah, his Pixel Slapper thinks it's very clever as well.
Yeah,
he does.
Yep.
Yes. Thanks for that little introduction on your name. I learned something myself there that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that was good. What was your earliest memory of gaming, and what attracted you to playing video games the most, would you say?
Memories. I mean, I'm an old man, but I can remember back in the early 70s playing on arcade games like Pole Position and Pac-Man when it came out, and
nice, yeah,
and many earlier games than that. I remember playing actual Pong home video game.
Okay, yeah.
And I know I was automatically always drawn somehow to, whoa, this is cool. How are they doing that? Even as simple as it was, even Pong making that little dot bounce from one side of the screen to the other, and as I got older, we got an Atari 2600 when I was about 10 years old or so, give or take.
Yeah. Okay.
And I remember playing like Space Invaders and all that stuff. And I was always interested in what made it work. I mean, I was even, when my dad tried to hook it up, we were getting the fuzzy picture thing, and we had that little adapter box that you attached to the back of the TV and had the little slide switch and stuff, and had to put on channel 2 or 3, whatever. And I actually am the one who figured that out. That automatically, even without knowing it, I was showing that I had the chops for the whole technical side of the whole thing. As simple as that seems, some people get really stuck on that stuff. Not saying my dad did, but he did.
You should have painted in that. You should have.
But it showed automatically. I was the type of kid that the drill. I want to know how the drill work. Let's open that puppy up. The transistor radio. Let's look at the inside of that. So yeah, I was always kind of drawn to that kind of thing.
That's nice. So you like to open up any kind of electronics to have a look,
Right? Yeah.
how it worked.
Yeah.
That's really that's interesting, because that's how some of the world's geniuses got their start.
Right.
And clearly, you're a genius.
Yeah, I was even as a teenager later on, like 18, 19, I had an all-in-one computer, a TRS-80 Model 4, and the monitor broke. Well, it was just a basic black and white CRT screen, 12-inch black and white. So I, on my own, figured out how to open up an old black and white TV I had, pull the monitor, pull the screen out, disconnect it, wires and all, without destroying myself, literally, and putting it in the computer. And so, back then we didn't have Google and all that stuff. So I just had
that takes some brains, that does, and some bravery.
Yeah, because
everything was big then, weren't it? Everything.
Yeah, and the tubes hold a charge, so you had to discharge the tube first, or else you were in for a very rude awakening. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I was always that guy. I understood how phones worked and how to wire phones and stuff like that for connecting modems and things like that. I'm just that kind of guy. That's how my mind works. Troubleshooting, problem solving, that type of stuff. That's why I'm very good with computers, actually.
Well, it's good to hear you got a very
and it sounds weird that I'm talking about all this tech stuff, but that ties into my interest in video gaming, in computers and gaming and all that in general.
Well, no, it all ties in. This is like an interview. It's not like like we do midweek gaming. It's a complete opposite. It is. So sometimes I have had podcasters on that don't even do game, YouTubers that don't do gaming at all. So it's not all about gaming, this podcast. But
no, I'm just saying that I know people might think, well, he asked him what got you into gaming. Well, all of that to me ties in. My interest in all of that kind of ties in together,
But yeah, that's it's really good to hear that, is because it's fascinating, because I'm not as technical, no way near as technical as you. But I start opening up transistors, drills, and all sorts, and even I'm not that technical at all. As you know, in the DMs when I'm asking questions, I don't know a lot about oat. I don't really. I don't. But yes, that's good. As a kid, were you you're probably gonna, were you Sega or Nintendo? Were you Sega or Nintendo kid?
I never had a Nintendo until, when did I finally have? Until probably the N64 is when I got my first Nintendo.
Oh,
and that was already after having multiple computers and stuff. In fact, the Nintendo 64 may have been my return to console gaming. What, in the 90s, sometime in the mid to late 90s? Yeah, because and it was probably GoldenEye that got me over there.
See, everyone says I had an N64. Everyone says GoldenEye, and I just can't remember playing it. I think I might have done. I just can't remember it. I can't. But no, the N64 was a good machine. It was. I do remember having one. Just remembering, I've had a game called Perfect Dark.
Oh, I got Perfect Dark, and I got the memory expansion kit that went with it. Add 4 meg or whatever it was.
Memory of the game itself, I don't remember playing it. I just, some things as a kid I can't remember playing. I can't, because I remember going to the shop and asking how much it was, and the woman went, "Oh well, it's 40 quid, but you're too young to buy it." And I went, "I'll just get my dad to come and buy it. It's not a problem." She didn't like that, because he would have bought it. He weren't bothered.
Pixel, I played Turok on my PC, and I'll tell you what, I had Turok day one. Okay,
nice.
I played Turok on my PC day one. Turok was one that I was really looking forward to.
That's good to hear. That is Turok. Not played that either.
Not played. Well, you haven't played a lot of good games, I tell you.
Yeah, I know. I need to go back and try and. was that on? Was there any of them on the Mega Drive? No.
I don't know. I know because for me, Turok was on PC. It was on in. I know it was on N64. I didn't have it there. Well, I didn't have my N64 long before I went to the Xbox actually, because I had
Oh,
the
you had
first
the
Xbox.
you had the original Xbox, did you?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
oh
no.
yeah,
No, I wasn't in then. I wasn't a gamer really then. That period, I don't believe. I remember it launching. I don't. I didn't have a lot of gamer friends. You see, that were into Xbox. Everyone I knew was PlayStation. You see, uh,
yeah,
it was only the 360 when I got into it all, Xbox Live and everything. But no,
yeah.
you had the original Xbox. You got any
I had
favourite
the
games on that
I've
one?
had every iteration of Xbox. Yes.
Have you still got every iteration of Xbox? Or
No, I
obviously,
don't. I still don't have I don't have the original. And for me, that all the games kind of blend. I couldn't tell you right off the bat what were my favorites on the original. Though I do know that the Star Wars titles, which have always been brought up as being backwards compatible from every generation, so I know I
oh,
had a lot of
yeah.
those on the original Xbox.
Oh,
Um,
okay, nice.
because I had a lot of those discs, and it was always great to see the fact that when they got to the 360, I was able to play my old Star Wars games from the original Xbox on the 360 and forward. I mean, so they always made sure they bumped those Star Wars game forward, which was always nice for me because backwards compatibility has always been a good thing for Xbox.
It
That's
has.
always
It
something they've
has.
they've always driven for. Yeah.
It is, and in the end, it's paid
Yep.
off massively. It's like I was saying earlier about we won about cloud saves, and you just don't need to think about it on Xbox, do you? It just
No.
happens naturally. You don't even need to think about it. You don't.
Yep. And even now,
But,
it's nice to be able to go back and just pull up even on digital versions. You can load up the old from Game Pass. You can load up the old original Xbox games, and there they are. And in
well, it's
some
good.
cases, it's like holy crap! There's your old save from 12 years ago. If it was saved in
VJ
the
had that. VJ had
yeah,
that. And he played an old game, and his old save came back up, which that's really
yep,
interesting. That is just shows you they invested in a lot of technology over years, and
yep.
it's now perfect. Basically, that is
Yep.
anyway.
By the way, that Dreamcast reminds me. I did have a Sega system at some point because I remember playing Tecmo Super Bowl on it. And I don't remember, so it had to
Oh,
be. I
I
had a
can't
Sega
remember.
system, probably about 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Oh, I can't remember what year. It was mass. It was either Sega Mega Drive, sorry, Sega Genesis or Master System,
Right.
maybe. I just can't remember which
Yeah,
system
I
that
don't
would have
remember
been
which one
on.
I had. I know I didn't have the one
Just
with the disk drive. I had a neighbor who had the one with the disk
yeah,
drive.
it was called Sega Mega Drive here, but probably called no in
Yeah.
America. It was called something else, probably.
Uh,
It
yeah,
was.
yeah, it was called something else. But yeah,
The names seem to differ. Apparently, the Genesis and Mega Drive. It was due to copyright or
yeah,
IP. It was a name issue. Apparently, that's why they're two different names. But yeah, everyone goes on about the golden era gaming. To me, the golden
yep.
era gaming was Sega Mega Drive. Oh, 60 frames. I still like to look at the old games like Sonic and Streets of Rage and the old graphics playing on the old system. But apparently, it makes
Depends on the
people.
game because some old
Yeah.
games look fine. Some old games do not transfer well to HD at all. Like
Oh no, I was just saying I actually play it on the. I've got an actual
oh
Mega
yeah,
Drive. The original Mega Drives. I have.
you actually have a TV that will still work on that.
Um, you can. How would you say? You can buy adapters for them all, so they
Oh
work
okay.
on modern TVs. There's always someone out there, Paul, that's willing to make a cable for
Yep.
them and make a profit out of them. So there's always someone out there. But
Yep.
what I actually use for that is I use an old PS. Hang on, yeah, no, yeah. I use an old PS2 cable. It's weird to explain. I've got a converter, and I use that's it. I use the original Mega Drive cable because it's got three different color pins on it, and then I plug it into what came off the PS2, so it goes into the back of the SCART lead, so it works. It works right.
Nice.
But you can't. But you can buy a HD cable for the Mega Drive. You can. But yeah, it's welcome Matt Barnes. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, it's all fun gaming, is it? It's been
Oh yeah.
it is. But so I know one of your big areas is you play a big role and as one of the Xbox ambassadors, and the big point for you being in, you could probably explain more on it. This might not be the only thing you do. You obviously help with trying to improve the Xbox system with equality and accessibility for gamers. What kind of things do you try and what does that entail? And do you spend a lot of time in meetings and summits
Well,
and
well,
having to yeah?
well, don't make it sound like I'm super important, like I'm buddy with Phil or anything, because he doesn't know me from Adam. But
Well, I know you
someday.
still play a role, don't you? It
Oh
helps. It
yeah,
does.
yeah. My involvement is more as a well, as an ambassador. More, it tends to more reach out to people. Reach out to me. Hi, I'm disabled. I saw your article here. I saw your little write up there, and it's amazing things you're doing. You're showing me that I'm not the only disabled gamer out there, and I shouldn't be ashamed of how I play. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's just
Yeah.
be you,
Okay.
be yourself, and don't be ashamed of it. As far as on the other side, yeah, I am involved in quite a bit of some product testing, some just basic surveys and information seeking that Microsoft and some of the other companies send out, and how can we make it better for you? So all I do there is I just give them my input. Here's where it's good, here's where it's not so good. Here's where it could be better. And some of that stuff comes into play, and I can see some of it in some of the decisions they make and things they've released or things they're working on, and I can go, hey, I had some input on that. And
Oh,
that kind of feels good because that gets more. That Phil said a few weeks ago that they of the ones that identify as disabled, I think he said there's over 300 something thousand of people who identify
okay.
as disabled on the Xbox console.
That's
And
really that's good. That is. That's really
and
good
if
that
you
they
really
know.
think about it, since they don't openly ask people, hey, are you disabled? That number is probably really, really low compared to what's really out there. We're not just talking about
Ah,
physically disabled.
but they've
We're
worked it
talking
out
of
themselves, Chief. So they've worked it out
right.
themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
And
that
so
is
because there's
interesting.
probably also people with some cognitive disabilities, some physical and mental disabilities that do not ever tell anybody. So I think that number is actually much higher than the number they have. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, you could go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and I think the more because game like Xbox, the whole big thing is gaming for everyone, and for everyone to feel safe in the gaming space. In order to do that, we have to remove some of the stigmas that come down with, I can't shoot as fast or as straight, or I can't talk as well, or I can't, whatever. We have to remove those stigmas and say, hey, everybody deserves the right to play a game. Everybody deserves that little chance to have fun. You know,
That is exactly true. That is.
yeah.
It's 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 good to hear, but it's interesting that they've worked out themselves. Do you think they've got something on the Xbox that tracks the Xbox so they can work it out? Because that's quite interesting. How
Yeah,
they, or do you reckon it's surveys they've done? No,
right.
they
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, because a lot of us, I don't know how I initially got on their list, but they sent out, are you disabled? Would you be interested in helping out with, this side of the program? And so even just today, I had another survey I filled out, and hope maybe they'll be talking to me about another thing they're going to be doing in the next few weeks, and they'll reach out to me personally for more input on it. Um, because, and even I've told them, they have spoken to me. I've said, up until within the last year or two, the focus was always on mostly the blind and the hard of hearing or the deaf, and not so much on those with actual physical, dexterity type disabilities and such. and that's been changing. And I've said this all along. You've heard me say this before. Microsoft Xbox is leading the way in that charge. You know, and it goes beyond gaming. It's not just what the Xbox is doing, because the tools we're using for to help disabled gamers is being used across the whole Microsoft landscape. I mean, if you follow every time Microsoft Accessibility tweets something, I tend to share it because it shows that it goes beyond Xbox. You know, how
That
Office
is
works, how the computers work. It all works together. You know, they're
that's
not
nice.
working in these little pockets. They're wide open. You know.
That is nice. I mean, that was obviously one of my other questions, because you mentioned it was like Microsoft wide, but why? It's a bit. It's frustrating because it does seem in the if you're on a console, the only company who does care about accessibility and all gamers being as accessible as you can to everybody is Xbox. It seems like PlayStation and Nintendo, I could be wrong, simply ain't bothered. Do you think it's a
Well,
money thing or just
I
they're not
don't I
bothered?
don't know if they
Mm.
realize how much of the audience they're leaving behind. Um,
Yeah, it's not good. It's not.
I've always had issues with the PlayStation controller just because of especially the way they set their thumbsticks
And
are directly opposed to each other instead of off, off put a little bit.
I
And
tell you
that
who
little,
struggles with that as well. Sorry, graphic God.
yeah, yeah,
He struggles with the PlayStation controller as well because
yeah.
obviously
He's
he
amazing. I watched him play a game one handed, and he actually had one camera on his hand while he
he
was
does that and
floating over the
it's
controller.
incredible.
It's amazing to
It,
watch him. He does stuff that
if
I couldn't dream of doing. Like it's
he's mastered it over years. But if any of you guys don't know Graphic God's story, go onto the stubzcast playlist, and he reveals his whole story
mm,
about why he does do gaming one handed, and you really will learn
mm,
if you don't know. But so back to Paul again, sorry. But
that's all right.
yes, it's
But
incredible.
the adaptive
Yeah,
controller itself is an amazing piece of technology. Why more of them haven't adapted that type of technology? I don't understand. Um, and even now I was looking at, and this isn't to badmouth the company because they're just getting, but I looked at some video of the Amico coming up. They had a reveal for the Amico, the
they look
Intellivision thing.
nice.
They do, but because of the way the controllers are made, where the whole left side is basically one big thumbstick and floaty wheel thing, and the right has all the buttons and stuff,
Oh,
and,
so
and it
okay.
also it also reacts to tilt. I don't know if I'd ever be able to use it, at least not with any kind of comfort level. Not with because my left hand is my worst hand in my case. The dexterity in
Okay,
my left
fair
hand is
enough.
awful.
Yeah.
Anything that is left hand centric, oh, forget about it. You know.
Yeah, I think within television, it's like the fact they're not like a big corp. They've got money, obviously, but they're not in
Yeah.
Nintendo or PlayStation
Oh
or
no.
even Xbox's league, are they? Yeah, I
Though
think if they could,
my dad had one growing up. I do remember using the olden television with the radio dial, but I don't think. And this is like a radio dial and a flat screen. It's almost like a phone, with a radio dial on it now. And I
oh yeah,
honestly don't know
okay,
how well I'd be able to use it now. You know.
yeah. So that would be you'd have to. Well, that could be something you could ask them. Maybe you could speak to Mike from NLG. I don't know
Yep.
because
Yeah.
he gets on well with the top guy there, don't he?
Yeah.
Tommy.
Tara. Yeah. He was in the video I was watching. And in fact, I just posted earlier today to can I play that, which I shared the interview with for the Hollywood Reporter. I said my advice to anybody who's disabled like me is try it before you buy it. Get your hands on one before you put the money out.
Yeah, I would agree with
You know,
that because if you
yeah,
buy it, you
make sure.
can't use it. It's a
Right.
waste, isn't it?
It's like how many games have I paid 60, 50, $60 for? I get home and I can play it for 3 hours and I hit a point where I can't move forward at all.
Yeah, it's not good. I was reading one. Is there a game that this is about accessibility where it really helped you. There was a game I read it in your interview with Hollywood Reporter. You mentioned there was a game that you kept failing at a certain point in the game, and it asked you,
Oh,
said,
L.A. Noir,
"You
L.A. Noir,
do you want
L.A.
to
Noir
skip
was the first
this?"
game I ever saw do that. Yeah, L.A. Noir was the first
That's
game I ever
wow.
saw do that.
I've never heard of that before ever. So
Yep,
that's new. That is to me anyway. Have
there have
you
been a
seen it
few.
again since?
Yeah, I can't remember what other games they did, but I have seen it in a few others since. They said, "Oh, you're having trouble here. Do you want to skip this part?" Yes, because I just want to play the game, see the story. You know.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. That is to offer that option, but it's
Yep.
an option I didn't know was out there. But hopefully more games can do that in the future. They can. It's getting that
I know
message
more.
across
I know
though.
more and more Xbox in particular is adding to their accessibilities list, things like that, to game developers, saying these are the things we want to see in our games, so more people can play. Boom.
That's good to hear. Welcome back from the dead, and welcome Goat Force Gaming. Goat Force Gaming seems to think GTA 5 does that as well.
I played GTA 5 and I don't remember that, but it doesn't mean you're incorrect. It just means I don't remember. I'd have to go back and play it again.
I don't remember that either, to be honest. But it very well could have done. It very well could have done.
Yeah. I actually I bought the updated version for the One X Pixel, and it even looks good on the Series X. For me, it was well worth the money to go back and grab it again. I haven't finished it yet. Yeah, I bought it at the time, was a stupid time to buy it. I bought it when all these other games were coming out. So I have I'm the ADHD of game players. Oh, new game. Oh, new game. Oh, new game.
You complete more games than me, Paul. You do. So don't. You definitely do. I get distracted. I do. I get pulled back into Gears of War, and I haven't yet though. I haven't yet. I'm playing Skyrim at the minute when I can.
Well, like I took a break from redoing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I've just gotten back to it. And I've gotten farther in it now than I did before, because that one I was forced to go back after I had to lose 100+ hours of gameplay to a glitch. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're obviously well invested into it. You've got further than before, which you could. So hopefully that glitch doesn't happen again to you.
Yeah. Well, if it does, I won't play it. If it does,
No.
if it says it's broken again, I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't go back again. That'll be the third time. Goat Force said he seems to think. He said my dad has skipped sections for similar reasons after multiple fails. So it must do.
Yeah, they may have added it after I played it. I played it at launch. They may have added that ability later. So I'll have to go back and check.
All right, Back for the Dead. Thanks for that. The massive sale on the Xbox store right now does not help. Well, after this interview, Back for the Dead, I will go and have a look what's on sale. So I have to see what deals I can pick up.
It's the E3 sales, and trust me, there can be more sales after Sunday. I can guarantee you that.
I can believe it too. I can. But usually people are like, "Oh, this is amazing. That's a great deal. I'll buy that." Then a lot of people like myself play it for a little bit. Oh, something big's just dropped into Game Pass. Distracted, moves on. Normally, something like that.
Yep.
But yes, have you tried the Xbox Adaptive Controller? Are you able to use it, or have you tried it or tested it before?
I have one. I got it with the intention of being able to plug in my joystick and hopefully use it as a fully functional joystick for flying sequences of games like GTA. Because flying with the controller for me is like near impossible. I'd like a full. Growing up on computers, I got used to using a full size joystick, flight stick, especially for flying.
Well, it used to be back in the day. I remember it used to be a really big thing to have these flight sticks. It used to be really big. Flight games did years ago, back when I do remember it, and flight sticks were massive. Well, used to be anyway. They did.
Just like Microsoft had their own Sidewinder Pro, which was a flight stick with force feedback. And Microsoft, if you're listening, hi Phil, bring back the Sidewinder. Okay, now that we have all these new toys and gadgets, bring back the Sidewinder. was an awesome joystick.
Well, with Microsoft Flight Simulator supposedly coming to Xbox,
That's right.
that could bring it back and allow it on the Xbox. That might be a better
Yep.
way of using it. That might.
But when I have the resources to do so, I plan on buying some more of the attachments for the adaptive controller and seeing what I can set up for myself.
That would be good
So,
to try that out. That will be.
yep.
That'd be to get your take on it. That'll be whenever you do it.
Yep.
But yeah, so obviously the adaptive control has not turned out too well for you currently. Then it hasn't.
But to each their own. I mean, I'm not gonna downplay what it does for other people, like
Oh, I
graphic
agree. Yeah.
god and things like that. Just for my uses, right off the bat, it didn't help me for what I was looking for. Doesn't mean it can. It just means I haven't found a way. And the problem is a lot of the parts you buy for it are not cheap. Um, it's $100 for the base controller, and then you can get like
Yeah.
Logitech sells a kit with a bunch of different parts for another $100. But then I'm going to end up with a bunch of different parts that I may or may not be able to use. Now, what I could do
Yeah.
with it, and I may end up doing with it, is I may build myself the equivalent of a arcade fighting controller, a twin stick, 6-button type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be. I actually didn't know you could get all loads of attachments for it. I just
Oh
thought
yeah,
that was how it worked.
no, it's fully adaptable. It's fully adaptable for what you need.
That's probably why it's called the adaptive controller. Stupid name.
Yeah, and well, like
That's probably-
like Jay Graphic God uses his with his. I believe he uses a brake pedal from driving, either that or he may have even said his guitar pedal, because it'll plug in like a wah wah pedal and you can use it to do certain things.
No, that's good to hear.
It takes the place of one of the buttons on the controller. Now I will say that I wish I had mine, but my dumbass friend lost it for me, and I have to replace it. The Elite 2 controller served a lot of my needs.
Did
Being
it? I think
being
Yeah.
totally button remappable to any game, I was able to shift some stuff from the left side to the right, or with the hair triggers were a big help for certain games. The button configurations being as controllable as they were much easier. So yeah, so for my purposes, I need to replace my Elite 2 controller. That did a lot more for me out of the box than the adaptive controller did. And again, I'm not downplaying the adaptive controller. It's going to take me time and resources to figure out how to make it work better for me.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. You don't want to spend a lot of money when it might turn out that these adaptions you bought are no good for you. So this will be a waste of money.
Right.
You will.
Well, and I'm not saying, that's what I'm trying to make clear. I don't want anybody listening to this thing and talking crap about the adaptive controller. Quite the
Oh no,
opposite.
you're not.
Quite the opposite.
You're not coming
It's-
across that way either.
Yeah.
You aren't. But you just
Yeah.
want to be sure you're buying the right adaptions
Right.
so you can use it to get the most out of the controller.
Oh yeah. If Microsoft hadn't shut down all their storefronts, I'd try to go to a Microsoft store and going, okay, I need to see how I can make this work for me.
Oh, did they used to let you? Oh, was that a thing? You could go and test them all out when they had
Well,
them.
they had.
all
I
the
don't know if
shops?
they did. I don't know if they had it, but I know at the store you could check out a lot of stuff, much like the Apple stores. Heck, if I ever end up going to Summit and they have it at the campus in Washington, I plan on going. Hey, let's talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what's funny is some of the people that are involved in the adaptive side of Microsoft and Xbox, they do know who I am by name, because I popped over into the Xbox stream a couple of weeks ago, and they were doing an adaptive thing, and one of the ladies on there who's in charge of, she saw my name pop up in the chat and goes, "Speaking of, we just had an article on this guy. It's Cerebral Paul." I'm like, "Oh crap, she knows who I am."
That's good to hear. You got a shout out there, didn't you?
Yeah,
Join the stream, Paul. Drop in.
yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. That is.
So I figure by the
So
time I finally get over there, it's either going to be, "Hey, it's Paul," or "Hey, it's Paul. Close the door."
yeah. So in your future, what would you like to see for in in the for features on the Xbox, or in helping with accessibility in games? What would you like to see in the future? Not
um,
any little ideas. You don't have to say if there's anything being worked on. Just say how would you like it to be improved for the future. Any little
yeah.
ideas you have that could help improve games?
Well,
Or
my whole thing with my situation is I wish the button mapping was a universal thing that any game could, like with the Elite 2. I wish that would become standard.
okay,
That would
yeah,
alleviate a lot of the issues. That would be a big one.
yeah, that's a good one.
Other
That
than
is,
that, I really couldn't say because I do know some stuff they're working on that if it comes to fruition, it's going to help a lot.
that'd be good. I don't obviously expect you to say stuff that's in the works. I know you can't.
Right.
Yeah, but
And
no,
but if I can step out of that a little bit and say in video games themselves, I would
yeah,
love to see more representation of disabled people in the games themselves. Like in a zombie game, you're not going to see a disabled person lasting too long as far as running from zombies. But in a
no,
game
you're
where
not.
in a game where you have support characters like guys on the radios and stuff. If you remember the old show Wise Guy, he had the guy in a wheelchair that was his lifeguard. He was the guy who would call over the phone to get information,
Yeah,
and Batman had Oracle, who was Batgirl after she had her back broke. Um, and it seems silly, but in the games where you can show that stuff and actually use a disabled person to represent that person, because because in all these games, everybody you see is fully able.
it's
And
true.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying it's not realistic unless we all died off.
That is exactly. I tell you what, I never thought about. They always go about equality, and they have all bases covered. And you are right; they don't have that base covered at all. I'd never considered that. You got a
Nope.
very good point there, Paul. That they don't consider that point at all. And I think I actually agree with that. I never, until you mentioned it, I never thought of that one, and that would be really good to see. That would be that, and that would be every nearly not you can't cover every base, but that would cover a good portion, wouldn't it?
Well,
Because
just to show
a
that,
lot of these games like to tick boxes now, don't they? But
yeah.
they don't think about doing that, do they? It's something simple. It's not that difficult, is it? It can't be that
Nope.
difficult because it is. There's a lot of people out there with different disabilities and that
Okay.
in normal
Yeah.
life.
You got
see,
Professor X. So please give me one disabled character out of hundreds of thousands of Marvel characters. Fight me. Okay. Okay. Wait, we got
Back from the
two
dead.
because we have Daredevil too. We have he's blind. So okay. But I'm just talking about beyond that. I mean, all these games show these futures or whatever, or these societies. You don't see deaf people, you don't see blind people, you don't see people in wheelchairs. A lot of games show you wheelchairs, but they're empty and decrepit, and like everybody in a wheelchair died recently, apparently. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
you have
not
got
saying
a point.
I'm not saying it has to be a big deal. I'm just saying if you really want to make us feel like we're still part of the community, that's a small thing you can do, even if we're
It
not the
is.
main character.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I've never thought of that before. But when you even go down the shops and in normal life, you see people that are in wheelchairs. People in general have got disability. Nothing wrong with it. It's part of life. But you are right. That should be included in video games, and it's not. It's like, yeah, you're
Yep.
right. It's like it doesn't exist, which is not good.
Right. Now, like I
It would
said,
be.
in things like Dying Light, I can understand why every disabled person in the world has been turned to a zombie or chewed up and spit out just because of, we can't run that fast.
Yeah,
The
totally.
blind people probably don't stand a chance either, and the people at a great
No, they won't.
disadvantage.
Yeah, they would be. Can't see them. No, you're right.
But
You're right
still,
there.
there's got to be, some way, somehow, in all of these things, especially in like Dying Light, they had a community that was a safe area where things were kind of controlled. Why can't there be somebody like me? Because I know for a fact in a situation like that, my job would be the technology guy, the computer guy, the oversight guy. You know, you're never going to see me going out for a fight, but I'd be able to tell you where everything is, or whatever. Keep stuff up and running.
Oh yeah, so
There's
exactly.
no reason that some of that can't be brought into video games.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that one. I do. But yeah, I've never thought of this aspect before. It's any gaming developers listening. There you go. That would really open up your game. That would.
Yeah,
I
well,
think it would
yeah.
anyway.
If that comes up in any of my interviews coming up, it's going to come up. So yeah,
That'll be good. That will be.
yeah,
Andy, welcome, Andy Waring. Welcome. I think I'm saying your name correct.
yeah. It looks like it.
Thanks for stopping in. So here we go. The content creation part. How's getting into doing content creation? How has it helped? Do you enjoy it, and has it helped you have a lot more fun in gaming, doing content and
Here's the thing.
live streaming?
I always say this. I do not consider myself a content creator, but
But
I
you
guess
are.
I am in a sense. But yeah, I stream, and when I stream, my whole focus, my focus is I'll just be playing a game. But if I have a problem with that part of that game, I will explain to you why I'm having that problem, and even show you on camera. Look at how my hands are doing this and why I can't do this. And yeah, I have fun. Even if you go back and watch my streams, even when I have no viewers, I'll be talking to the stream like I have 50 viewers. I'm just having fun. And
Well, that's good though. It's because when I never stream games, but I did a while ago, and if no one's in chat, I can't keep talking. So that's quite a good skill to have. I know you say talking to yourself, but people, streaming's not easy. Everyone thinks it is streaming up playing video games. It's not easy. And if you can keep that up, regardless of if there's a chat, people in chat or not in chat, that's quite good. That is.
I'm actually more relaxed if I'm more relaxed if even if the camera's on and I know I'm talking to the camera, I tend to stiffen up a little bit. But if I'm playing a game and I'm basically I'm verbalizing my thoughts throughout the game, is all it is. And doing it so as though people are watching. Even like now, I'm much more relaxed. If my camera was on, I don't like the way I look on camera all the time, because then I can see my stiffness, I can see my spasticity, and even though it's part of me and it's fine to me, I don't like the way it always looks. But it is what it is. At the same time, I don't tend to, I have one pre-recorded my intro on my channel. I don't tend to like doing pre-recorded stuff or scripted stuff.
It is harder
Because
because you critique it,
it's harder to not feel like I'm reading a script. I like, my personality and my sense of humor is very much off the cuff, as you know. I'm reaction. I'm reactionary. I react to what I hear and I react to what I see.
When I trigger you on the show instantly.
Yes,
There you
absolutely.
Go. But no, yeah.
Yep. You want a good way to drive up viewership? Find my trigger words. That's right.
It is. Yeah.
Yes. All of a sudden you see across Twitter, okay, Paul's going off again. Get over there and watch. Oh crap.
Oh yeah. Pixel Slapper saying, by the way, Cerebral Paul, your YouTube isn't sending notifications for you. I have a bell on there. Thought you wasn't streaming to complain to them. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem, this is, because
a lot of people
I understand that the button's broken. Come on, the button ain't broken. YouTube's just notifying people who they want to do it to. Everyone's always broke. Is it really? They know what they're doing. They're not stupid.
Or I get the alert, hours after they've stopped streaming. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's helpful.
It happens a lot. It depends how big you are. That's how YouTube does it. But they will claim, oh, no, everyone's done equally. Not true, because a lot of people don't get notifications for even midweek gaming or even the stubzcast sometimes. It happens, but we are available on download as well.
And part of it could be because I'm using Restream and I'm not going straight to YouTube. I don't know if that has something to do with it. It could. But I'm not going to change that. But I'm not going to change that for now. So.
I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't. It's just the way YouTube is.
They can tell though if it's coming through the Restream IO or if it's coming directly from me. So.
Maybe I don't know how YouTube works. It's a very I don't know. But I know that a lot of people have problems with the bell button. People not getting notified. I do know that. That's quite a common theme. I hear it is. So obviously, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because Mr. Wormy Hood put a tweet up yesterday or a few days ago, recently, saying that was he the show that you first went on?
Yeah, Wilmy Hood.
Yeah,
the Gaming Beyond the Box crew was yesterday was my 1 year anniversary of podcasting.
So yeah, that's good. So since then you've gone on to become panel members on many different shows.
Yep.
Sorry, Back from the Dead. We didn't bother to do.
Yeah, we didn't do a show on Wednesday
because we didn't want to do a show full of E3 predictions that you've already most likely heard, or trying to come up with new stuff. So we're just leaving it till this Sunday. We are,
and I could have only said I don't care so many times over 2 hour period.
Yeah, so there wasn't really that many. I didn't think there was that much to talk about. I'm not an expert in the indie field, you see. If there was loads of indie games, but I'm not good at talking about them. That's where the indie gamer comes in. He's really good at that stuff.
Yep.
I just sound like I'm pretending to. But yeah, them things the other day. That was when I streamed like that little E3 prediction thing was meant for podcast feeds, and I just chucked it on the YouTube because I can stream on StreamYard and have it set to private and then public it, so everyone thinks they've missed a stream and they haven't really missed it. That you can do that if anyone didn't know that, it can be done. But yes, that's a big problem on YouTube. But hopefully it will get sorted one day. But obviously, being with these shows, being on stubzcast does very well on downloads. By the way, it usually does. I'm trying to get more Apple Podcast reviews for both of them. For 5-star reviews, people, they really help. If you ain't, just download iTunes and make an account and give us some reviews. It helps. But yes, listen multiple ways. It's not all about YouTube. Sometimes some of the downloads are quite high as well. But yes, back on you first went on Wilmy Hood's podcast a year ago now, because Wilmy is open. He will have anyone on, and he's a show that he has said to me that if you want to come on, let me know. But it says I know it's hard for you being in England. It is. I weren't working at the time when I was on Wilmy Hood's last. And obviously, I'm back at work now. But has it helped you going on podcast to talk to people? And does it help you going on to different podcasts? Obviously, you must enjoy it because you're doing it, and it obviously fills your day up if you're doing podcasts as well.
Yeah, it gives me something to do, and as I've gotten more relaxed at doing it, as you can tell, I don't. Like I told you when you first invited me, I'm not a yes man. I'm not going to agree with everything everybody says.
I love it.
Quite the opposite much of the time. And I don't do that on purpose. It's not like I go in thinking, well, I'm going to have the opposite opinion. No, these are my opinions. This is what it is. And a lot of times I go against the grain.
Which I like.
And that's what you like. And that's what Noof likes as well.
Well, I don't like to create an echo chamber podcast because I'm not naming names, but there are echo chamber podcasts out there.
Oh yeah,
they all sit there agreeing with each other. They do, and I don't like that. I don't.
Yep, and you and I know for a fact that we'll go at each other in a nice way and go, no, that is not correct.
Yes, I know. But yeah, exactly. So it's good to hear you liking going on different podcasts because you and
I actually honestly I think that's part of why, because especially early on, if you watch me in the chats, you could almost bet I was screaming and spitting at my monitor, going, "No, wrong, 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 wrong. You're stupid." You know,
Yeah. So
not
that's
to you
that's a good
necessarily,
reason.
but there have been times where I've wanted to say something, you know, and it's like, wow,
Yeah, no,
you know.
I get it a lot. People don't agree. But I get it a lot. People don't agree with me. But if we all had the same opinion, the world would be boring, wouldn't it?
Yep. Plus,
It
I'm
would.
hoping that after this Sunday, I'm going to get to throw up a whole bunch of "I told you so." So I'm just waiting for
Oh
Sunday, and
yes.
you know,
You're right there. But yeah, Elden Ring was on the
yeah,
it,
yep.
hey, that's a multiplat, that is, but that's not published by Xbox. That's not.
Nope.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know. That's why it's not at the Xbox conference. That's why it's not going to be there. It's been confirmed apparently that the publisher didn't want it on the Xbox stage. They didn't, because they've got their own conference. They have, or
maybe because maybe Sony paid them for for rights or something. Whatever. It's fine.
Maybe. Marketing,
Xbox has enough to talk about. They don't need to talk about.
Well, hopefully it'll be an exciting show that will be one of the best E3 for years. Hopefully, because last year's was quite good. It was. Hopefully, this will be even better.
Yep. Yeah. Let me just say that. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be, their jaws are going to drop when they see what Xbox brings to the floor. So.
That's exactly what I want. That is.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever? I don't know. Do you think you'll ever launch your own podcast, or do you?
I've thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know if I would start it solo or if I'm going to try to put together a group and find a time. I've kind of thought about it, but I'm going to wait till after my life kind of settles down here a little bit, come August. And then I'll go forward, and let's see what happens over the next couple of months. I think if I did, I think I would. I'm not bragging. I think I would get a start of an audience, but I don't know if I could hold on to one. What I might start doing, and I've thought about this even today, is especially around the E3 stuff that's coming up, is start doing little quickly recorded little things and putting them up on my YouTube channel.
Hey,
check this out.
That does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, congratulations on getting E3 credentials as well.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yes. We were talking about that this morning too, and people go, "How did you do that?" I'm like, I really don't know. I put in the application, and they said, "Okay,"
I tried it as well, just purely, and I got it. And there's people that have got bigger followings than me that got refused, like some YouTubers. And it may be down to the fact that I do I actually applied to be through the not content or influencer via the podcast way. So they asked you for as many links as possible, and I sent them the playlists to some of the creators I had on before. iTunes links. I think iTunes might have helped. Every link I could.
Yep.
And filled it, and they just said yeah. I mean, it obviously it missed me. I mean, obviously, I don't. If this was in person, I don't think they'd give me access. I'm no one. But if on the web, it's different. If it was in person, I'm not sure whether I'll get media. I'm not sure I'm big enough to get media access in person.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now that we've had media access this year, when they do go in person again, will it be easy for they'll look at the list and go, yeah, he was on media access last year?
You may be, but I won't be attending because I'm not flying to America.
Right. Well, I understand.
Maybe there might be a portal access
for you, yeah, but for me, it's more of a possibility.
It is, yeah, it is, yeah. But yeah, well done on getting that, Cerebral. It's really good. That is. It is.
And I don't know because all I did was I actually listed. I listed the Good Morning Xbox, and they of course asked for my Twitter information, which in the first thing they see there was my interview with the Hollywood Reporter. So I don't know if that played into it as well too.
Oh, that was good. It may have done. May have seen your Xbox ambassador. Oh, this guy's famous.
That too. Yeah, that too. Because I very that's at the top of my Twitter. My thing of who I am.
Yeah.
Xbox ambassador, cerebral palsy, blah blah blah. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
whatever. So yeah, I'm taking advantage of it, or
well,
I'm
it's an
using it, I should
achievement.
say.
It's
Yeah.
an achievement. I might start popping out. I might try and make some videos around the content. I mean, I don't think they check what you've done with your access because I bet thousands of people have got access to it.
No,
We're
but
not the only ones.
like earlier today, they sent out a press release
They did.
about the event for Monday. So I immediately posted that to my Twitter account for those that
Did you?
might be interested in it. It had to do with I forget what it, but something that I don't necessarily do, but I believe that if I'm going to talk about, it's not just about talking about what interests me, but it also involves talking about Switch and all that stuff that I don't have and I don't plan on getting anytime soon. But it's part of the gaming thing, and this is a gaming weekend. This isn't just an Xbox weekend. Yeah.
That is true. There's loads of developers, publishers. E3's apart from PlayStation ain't there. That everyone
Yep.
else is there. I personally think they should be there, but that's up to them
Oh,
what they
so do
want
I.
to do.
I think the idea that you were talking about an
Because
echo chamber by having their
they,
own thing and not being out in the public, they are kind of creating an echo chamber because all you get is all the Sony fanboys who watch that stuff and go ooh ah. But if they ever want to
yeah,
expand their audience, they got to get back out there to where, because I don't necessarily watch Sony stuff. I did watch their state of play the other day, and I went, it's all right because
yeah. And then see, it's when I only say that because even Nintendo don't like to get involved, but Nintendo are there, so you can't knock them.
yeah,
They're there.
yeah,
They like to do their own thing, but they are there. They're doing their direct as part of
yep,
E3. So if they're there, I believe PlayStation should be there. But that's just my view. It's not knocking them. It's just
yep.
I think
Yeah,
everyone should be
it's
there.
a decision they make. Yeah, I think if they, especially like I said, if they really want to draw new people to their console outside of their normal crowd, then that's a place they ought to be.
It is. It's the biggest. Like even
But
like in the UK, BBC
right,
News cover it. The big stuff gets covered. I'm not saying it would be on the morning program, I said, but that they have specialist programs for technology, and
right,
they always cover E3.
right.
And a lot of the world's media look at E3. So games that are possibly big hits that no one thought about or didn't see coming could be on hundreds of channels around the world. It's massive press. It is far bigger
Yep,
than what going live on YouTube will do. Being as part of E3,
yep.
even little indie games can get major press if the world loves it. It
Oh
can.
yeah, and especially if it's part of a big show, like with ID at Xbox, you can guarantee some of that stuff's going to be covered during the Xbox show. And
Yeah,
ID at Xbox, I believe, has their own thing that weekend too. This weekend too.
I'll have to have a look at that. I will. Most likely, I would say. I haven't looked. I've only seen Xbox and Bethesda showcase, but there is something called the Indie Showcase. So ID
Right,
Xbox could be part of that, but there's not a lot of information. It just says Indie
right.
Showcase. It doesn't say
Yeah,
who's in it or anything on the
yeah. A lot of
list.
this stuff doesn't give us a lot of information even now, and we're a day out. All the
Exactly.
different booths. Some of the booths still haven't added themselves in. I've gone through and added most of the booths so I can see what they're doing and what they're offering. I've actually looked at a lot of their videos already. Um, like
Gaining your points.
Devious Eye Entertainment. It's going to be putting out some awesome stuff over the next year or so. They're an indie developer, and they're doing some incredible work that I've seen. Bunch of these things have. I spent some time yesterday going through a bunch of this stuff,
You were
and
in there. You were in there getting all your points, weren't you? You
basically,
didn't
yeah,
quest the
that's
points.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
you were.
But I was interested in
It's
it
good.
anyway. I even that way
It's
how can
good.
I talk
Yeah.
about anything if I don't actually look at it?
That is true. That is true. Andy Warrington said this is brilliant. When I was doing Stadia content, you couldn't offer constructive criticism. You can always do that, but there is Stadia fanboys who won't have anything said against it. But f them. You say what you like, mate. You say what you like. Don't listen to it. You have your own view. You will get people will pop at you, but you don't worry about what they say. You can't. I do the odd time, but That happens every so often. That's the way it is with being in podcasts and YouTube. You will always get someone. Like Paul,
Yep.
a while back, didn't you, Paul? Someone had a pop at you for playing it on easy mode. Then you told him, hang on. And then he felt bad and apologized. I didn't know. Well, you were like, you shouldn't just presume.
Yep. You shouldn't.
And
You
were
shouldn't
like,
need to know. You shouldn't need to know. Just don't be a dick. No, don't be a dick.
exactly. You were like, and what's wrong with? Oh, you said even if I weren't, what's wrong with playing on easy mode? Because I do.
Yep.
A lot of my games I do
Yep.
play on easy mode. Some games I wouldn't get through. I do, but
I
believe
a lot of our friends will still say something about, "Oh no, I never play on easy mode. That's just silly." I'm like, now wait a second, hang on, yeah. So silly for you is not easy for me, because sometimes even easy mode isn't easy. Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, it's been a good show, Paul. Thanks for coming on. I think we've covered all the bases. I try and keep these shows not as long as I used to, because some used to go on 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
I try and compact them. I do now because
now Pixel Slapper just called me a Muppet, and just so you know, Pixel Slapper, I know what that means. Okay, I watch a lot of British TV. Okay, it's rude, wanker. Or to go the other route. That's nice. Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Brown's boy. Nice. I thought, yeah, I know what that means. Definitely. That's nice. Yeah. That's funny. That is. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Cerebral Paul. It was a very interesting show. I learned quite a bit, actually. I did, especially about the beginnings of your name, which I didn't know. But yeah, it's been an interesting show today. Thanks for coming on. Can you tell people where they can find you? You okay?
Yeah, as soon as I can stop coughing. You can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul, YouTube at Cerebral Paul, amazingly enough. Let's see. And of course, you can find me on Wednesdays on the Midweek Gaming with Stubz here, and on let's see, what else is there? So many things. Oh, Sunday with Good Morning Xbox, which this morning it will be, or this weekend it will be Good Afternoon Xbox. And I will be streaming a lot on my own YouTube channel this weekend in regards to E3. I will be joining 108 Dragons Lemon on his stuff for E3,
nice.
but I'll be co-broadcasting on my channel as well. Just as we talk about the stuff we see at E3. I might even, for a lot of it, I may even be streaming during E3. I will be quiet when they're showing the videos, but maybe turning down the volume when they're yak, because don't care, and just talking about what I see in the videos and stuff. And of course, you can find me my Cash App address. No, I'm kidding. And then Sundays, yeah, like I said, you can find it on Good Morning Xbox. Wednesdays on Stubz. Tuesdays I hang out with the retro gaming guys and try to keep them in line. It's very hard to do.
Yes, it is. Do not call it a podcast, though. It's not.
No, it's not a podcast. We just hang out and drink beer and stuff, and yell at each other. And so there you go. And of course, and keep an eye on my Twitter. My Twitter is usually a pretty good idea for what I'm up to and what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Paul, for coming on, and thank you for listening. Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone in chat. And if you enjoy this show on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps boost the algorithm. That is what I'm told. And if you enjoy it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, we're on most platforms now. Obviously, YouTube as well. Please leave a comment after the show. It helps, and share it out. But yeah, it's really, really good show today with Cerebral Paul. And thank you again for coming on, Paul. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you. And of course, I share it out and tell people they need to go back and listen to it because, hey, I did an awesome job.
You did. You did very well. It was good. Very good. It was. Thanks, guys, for coming by live in the chat on your Saturday night. Friday night.
Friday. You've done this other days too. Yeah.
Yeah. Fridays.
You're
Yes,
just
it's
trying to get to
Friday.
Sunday. You're trying to get to that Xbox Bethesda thing already. You're just in a hurry.
Yeah, I am. I definitely. Yeah, it'd be good. Well, I'm hoping it's good because I like to.
Yeah.
I temper my expectations in case I do. But I've got a good feeling about this year. I have. But
I do
anyway,
too.
thanks for stopping by, guys, and thanks for Cerebral for coming on. And I'll see you. Actually, let's plug Sunday's show. Sunday, this Sunday, 10 p.m. UK time. Hang on, 5 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. PST. The midweek gaming crew are going to be doing the Xbox and Bethesda showcase post show. So we're not co-streaming it, just so you know, it's a few hours after. So it's at 5 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. PST, and 10 p.m. UK time. If you wanna get our thoughts on what Xbox and Bethesda is showing, we will let you know. And
If you want to see
so
my I
if you
told
want
you
to hear
so's, if you want to
yeah,
see my I told you so's, keep an eye on my Twitter that day because I ain't
yeah,
waiting. That stuff's gonna be blasted. You just wait and
he's
see.
not going to shut up about it on the show when he gets on it if he was right. Anyway, thanks guys, and I'll see you Sunday.